Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome to Let's Talk News. So happy to have you here and hope that a few of you can join me tonight so that we can talk about what is going on in the news. And boy, oh boy, today was, well, I haven't seen you since Thursday, right? So a lot has gone on since Thursday. Boy, oh boy. We've learned a lot about the Charlie Kirk shooter, and we've learned a lot about what's going on around the world to remember Charlie Kirk and to uplift his message. So I'm glad you all joined me, and please comment and let me know that you're here, because if not, I'm going to be very, very lonely, and I hate being lonely, especially since I just came back from Outriggers and we celebrated my brother-in-law, who is a raging liberal. We celebrated his birthday, which just goes to show you that conservatives are happy to hang out with liberals, but it seems like the woke is not happy to hang out with us, and that is terrifically unfortunate. But at any rate, we had a great night, and I might have had one too many martinis, so I'm going to need your help. You're going to have to comment so I can read comments and not have to try to carry this show by myself. But at any rate, did we all see what happened and what we've learned about Mr. Robinson, Tyler Robinson, that he was indeed someone who was in a relationship with someone who is transgender. So here we go again. If you didn't see it, I'm going to pop it up now. Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin lived with transgender partner who is now cooperating with FBI officials. So remember when the FBI officials said that they got messages from, I forget what it was called. It was like a platform like Signal, but it wasn't Signal, it was something else, where he was talking with his quote unquote roommate, and that he told his roommate about the gun and that it was wrapped in a towel in the woods and that he had to retrieve it, and basically confessed to the killing to his roommate. And, at the time that all came out, I was very curious to understand, well, if he was having these conversations with his roommate, did that mean his roommate knew about it? Well, according to what we know now, his roommate was his partner. His roommate was transgender. His roommate's name was Lance. And that's what we know right now. We also know that the roommate, Lance, was cooperating with police. So I had asked earlier on my social media who radicalized this young man. And I got some people saying, well, nobody had to radicalize him. It was just his choice. But the truth is that people did radicalize him. I'm not saying that he was a conservative turned, liberal, but we do know that over time he became more and more political. He was apolitical, and then he became very political. So was he radicalized? Yes. By whom? Not sure. His family did not like Charlie Kirk. His family were left of center. They did not care for Charlie Kirk. But, just because you don't care for somebody doesn't mean that you will take a bolt action rifle and shimmy up on a roof, make a plan, and kill somebody. So something happened along the way. Was it the partner? I don't know. Was it his own twisted problems? I don't know. Whatever it was, we know that Tyler Robinson did kill Charlie Kirk, and he left 2 children and a wife without a husband and a father. And I just want to show a quick clip of some of Erica Kirk's speech when she addressed the public finally after she brought her husband's body home and prepared to get ready to lay him to rest. She showed tremendous, tremendous courage. And here's what she said.
The evildoers responsible for my husband's assassination have no idea what they have done. They killed Charlie because he preached a message of patriotism, faith, and of God's merciful love. They should all know this. If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country and this world. You have no idea. You have no idea the fire that you have ignited within this wife. The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry. To everyone listening tonight across America, the movement my husband built will not die. It won't. I refuse to let that happen. It will not die. All of us will refuse to let that happen. No one will ever forget my husband's name, and I will make sure of it. It will become stronger, bolder, louder, and greater than ever. My husband's mission will not end, not even for a moment.
And she's right, because all you have to do is Google and you can see that there were vigils held in China, Japan, India, England, Poland, all around the world for Charlie Kirk. So Mr. Tyler Robinson did not achieve what he wanted to achieve. Hello, Lucille. I'm glad to be back too. And in case you missed it, the reason I am back, and I am back solo, is because Jen is fabulous and she's doing her thing. My brother is off doing his thing. But I could not allow conservative voices to be silenced after Charlie Kirk's murder. So we're here, I'm here, and we're going to have some great guests on the show. On Wednesday, we're going to have the bail bond queen, Michelle Eskenazi, and we're going to talk about the Charlotte stabbing, the gentleman who was allowed out by signing his name, not even posting bail, because bail reform had removed bail from North Carolina and from many states around the nation. And he was brought out. DeCarlos Brown Jr. was allowed out, and he ultimately killed that woman, Irina, on the train in Charlotte. And nobody came to her. Nobody came to her aid. So we're going to talk with Michelle on Wednesday. She'll be here live, and we're going to talk about bail reform, which, by the way, just a reminder to everybody, started with Chris Christie in New Jersey. He was the advocate for it. Hi, Colleen Mahoney. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm so glad that you could join us. So we'll have guests from time to time. Sometimes it'll be just me. Sometimes it'll be others. But what the goal here is, Lucille, is I did not want to have another conservative voice silenced, especially now. We need to echo and reverberate and multiply the conservative voices out there. Even if there are only 10 or 20 or 1,000 people watching, we need to make those voices heard. And so that's why I'm here, and I'm going to be here every day at 8 o'clock to discuss the news topics of the day. Do you have a YouTube link for the show? Yes, it's Let's Talk. It's at Let's Talk Media, Let's Talk News Media. at Let's Talk News Media. I will write it here so that you could all see it. And it's the same. It's the same channel that we used to have, just a new name. Let's Talk News Media. So as YouTube, that is where you can find us there. So please, share it with your friends. And we'll always be on Facebook Live. And we'll also be on Rumble, on the old Right Stuff channel. I will get around to changing that name as well. But at any rate, so did you see? I think that we talked about it here, that we thought that this was a transgender issue, and that it was going to connect somehow to transgenders because of the question that was asked just before Charlie was shot, was about transgender shootings. I said I thought it was going to have a transgender link to it, and it did. Ultimately, Tyler Robinson does have a transgender partner, and that transgender partner is now cooperating with police. But here's the interesting thing. Supposedly, it wasn't coordinated. Supposedly, Hunter Kozak, who was the man who asked the question about transgender shootings just before Charlie was shot, and if you all saw the footage, Kozak asked about transgender shooting. Charlie said that he thought that more of the mass shootings were being committed by transgender individuals. Kozak was trying to argue and say that that wasn't true. But Kozak came out and had a huge comment to make on TikTok about what went on, about his question, about the answer, about his intention, and about what happened after the shooting. But before I get to that, I just want to say hi to Ramon. Thank you for joining us tonight. And Ramon, thank you so very much for being at my aunt's funeral. I was told that you were there to pay your respect, and I very, very much appreciate that. Yes, if you're subscribed, you're still subscribed. So you should get the notification about the shows as they come up. So if you're subscribed, if you were subscribed to Right Stuff, it's still the same channel. So you'll be able to have the notifications. All right. So listen, here is Hunter Kozak. Okay. Very interesting what this young man had to say. Tell me what you think. Listen.
I don't know how to make this video. It's been a rough 24 hours. This last person to talk to Charlie Kirk, here's maybe a better vantage point of me. So I'll give you some background. I made a video maybe about a week or two ago, I think. I'll play clips so it's clear about what's going on.
Oh my God. So Charlie Kirk just said that the suspected Minneapolis school shooter was trans. First Nashville, now this. How many times makes a trend? Probably the only way to do this is to have an ungodly amount of time to parse through all of the 6,000 mass shootings that have ever happened in the history of America. I mean, Charlie's counting on the fact that only a psycho would do all that. Trans people are surprisingly and extremely nonviolent. Now, while I was scrolling Charlie Kirk's video, I noticed that he was touring America, and he was touring universities specifically. And one of these caught my eye because one of these is the university I'm currently going to.
Obviously, that university was UVU, where I currently go to school, and I'm getting a degree in mathematics in. I'm not going to show a video of what happened, mostly because I can barely watch it. But yeah, here's what I asked. I asked, do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years? Too many. I said the number's 5. Counting or non-counting gang violence. Pop is heard. Shout out to CNN for fact-checking me and saying I'm right. First off, you sick fucking psychos that think this is the answer. It's not. I don't know what else to say. It's fucking not. It's awful. And a father doesn't have his kids anymore. Charlie had 2 kids and a wife. And like, not to make this about me, but I have 2 kids and a wife. And if my 1-year-old boy, like his 1-year-old boy, will grow up without memories of his dad, it's a tragedy. And it's hard to grapple with. And I'm part of a community that's struggling to grapple with it right now. And people have obviously pointed to the irony that the point that I was trying to make is how peaceful the left was right before he got shot. And that only makes sense if we stay peaceful. And as much as I disagree with Charlie Kirk, I'm on the record for how much I disagree with Charlie Kirk. But like, man, dude, he is still a human being. Have we forgotten that? Are we crazy? Like, I stand by so little of everything that he said, but one of the things that he stood by was conversation. And I also if you ever feel like you want to comment with your little conspiracy theory on what happened on the event, you are not helping anything, actually. I've been talking to the police. We're good. Thank you. And if you're salivating about what happened, don't. I don't know if any of my audience is, but if you are, you're not part of what I'm trying to build here.
So that's the guy. That's the guy who asked the question. And I was pretty sure he was in on it. I'm not sure that he wasn't still, but if he wasn't on it, I think he's having remorse. At the end of the day, we are all human beings. And the one thing that Charlie Kirk wanted more than anything was debate. You don't believe that the kid pulled the trigger, Jacqueline? Who do you think did? He looks pretty unremorseful, but I'll go with it. Who do you think did it? I mean, there's so much evidence, video evidence showing him going there, carrying the gun in his pants, running away afterwards, him, having the conversation on Discord with his partner, his transgender partner, about where he stowed the gun and how he had to get it back. But if you don't believe he pulled the trigger, who do you think did? Again, this guy, Kozak, if you go through his videos, I think he is also a partner to a transgender, and they have adopted some children. He's 29 years old, and he's going for a degree in mathematics in Utah, in the campus where Charlie Kirk was shot. So do I believe he wasn't involved? It's just a rock and roll coincidence, man, that he asked the question and then Kirk is shot. And then, Robinson has a transgender partner and he has a transgender partner. So I'm not sure. Maybe, he was duped into asking the question. It could be. There's crazy shit that's going on out there. And a lot of it tracks back to Soros, my friends. I'm going to say it a million times. I was one of the first people to pinpoint Soros as a threat to our freaking democracy. And a lot of it tracks back to him. So I don't know. Why would the gun have been assembled on the way in, then disassembled on the way out, then reassembled in the woods? I don't think that was the case, Colleen. I think that if you looked at the video that they showed us, he got off the roof with the gun assembled and then ran with it and threw it in the woods. Walking there, he had the gun in his pants leg. Leaving, he wrapped it in a towel and ran with it, ran a different way, dropped it in the woods. That's what I understand that to be. I don't believe there was assembling and disassembling done with the gun, but I might be wrong. We don't know everything yet, and leave it there to be found. You mean the gun? Well, that was the whole thing, is that apparently he was talking to his partner, telling the partner to go get the gun. He had to go retrieve the gun. Maybe the partner got cold feet. Maybe the partner decided that, he really wasn't an ally. Maybe they just used him. Who knows? That's what they said at news conference. They said it was in the backpack on the way out. Okay, I might have misheard. The video I saw, he threw the gun down on the ground and it was in a sack. It looked like it was wrapped in something. And he picked it up and carried it away. But I might be wrong. I don't think we know everything yet. And I think there's a reason that we don't know everything yet, because you can't, if they tell all the facts, then it's going to impugn the jury. And it's going to make it hard to have a jury, because if the news media carries it, then it's hard to have an unbiased jury. And if you don't have an unbiased jury, then you can't try the guy. In the towel, yeah, well, that's what they said, that it was wrapped in a towel and left in the woods. Yes, there was a whole video of a military guy explaining how the gun is not easily assembled and disassembled. Well, I agree, but I don't think that it ever was disassembled. He came in with it down his pant leg. And you could see that because he was limping as he was walking along. He was holding onto the stair rails because he couldn't bend his knee because the gun was in his pants, going up to the roof. It was really, really hard. Coming down, and I wish I could grab that. I wish that we had enough time to do that. But if you looked at the video of him coming off the roof, he lowered the gun in something, in a satchel. It looked like a satchel, but I presume it was the towel. So I'm not sure where you're hearing about the assembling and the disassembling. I didn't hear that. I heard that it was brought in whole, left whole, but that he couldn't run with it and carry it, so he dropped it in the woods to be retrieved later, which was the conversation on Discord that he had with his partner that led them to him, because that conversation on Discord with his partner mentioned the gun in the woods in the towel. And that was the thing that nailed it. The gun in the woods with the towel, and then everything that we saw in the video of him coming off the roof, lowering the gun in what looked like a satchel. Later we find out is a dark towel. And it clocked him. So, the thing here that is interesting to me is that this Kozak guy, I don't know if he was a useful idiot to the movement, and if they got him to ask the question so that later on they could do this, that they could connect all the dots. Not quite sure, but it sure sounds like it. It sounds like there was more than just Robinson, his partner. It sounds like it was definitely more than Robinson, is what I'm saying. And at the end of the day, I think that what we see around the world is that what Robinson and company, I'm going to say and company, was hoping to do was to silence Charlie Kirk. And I think they failed miserably, because if you looked at the vigil in London yesterday morning, there were millions of people in the street, millions. And a new party in the UK formed to take on all of this global elite ridiculousness that is going on around the world. So to me, Charlie Kirk is definitely a martyr. Definitely. What sniper training did he have? Don't know that he had sniper training. Look, here's the thing. I'm a pretty crack shot now with my 43X. And you know where I got my training? There is a application. It's a laser training that you can use for rifles and for guns. And you can do it in your apartment, in your house, wherever you like, as long as you use your phone, and you can become a pretty good shot using that without using any ammo, without buying any ammo. And it doesn't take long to become a pretty good shot. So, I don't know that you needed sniper training for that. Listen, I passed my concealed carry test, which was 15 inside the circle, and I got it. And that was before I had the laser practice. So, it's not hard to become a Deadeye if you can train yourself to shoot. So I don't know. I'm not sure that it was a sniper training. I love this. They wanted to bury him, but did not realize it was a seed. Yeah, he is a seed. He is a seed. And what's going on, Google it. Google what's going on around the world. The tribute to Charlie Kirk around the world. It will blow your mind. Blow your mind. And Erica has already said that she was not going to let Turning Point go, that she was going to keep it alive. And I believe that. And more money has been pouring into its Turning Point than ever before. But it's kind of like the attempted assassination of Trump, right? I mean, this was they thought that they were going to kill Trump, and look at what they did. They reelected him. The laser training is for rifles as well as pistols, Colleen. We have it for our AR. So it's not hard. You don't even need to buy ammunition. So you don't get tracked. You don't get tracked. It's a laser target practice. It is for many, many different weapons, and you can do it in your house, and there's no noise, and it's great. It's for rifles. It's for guns. It's for everything. So I don't know. I'm not going to say he was a sniper. I think they have the right guy. What I do think, however, is that there's more than him. And we need to find out about that. I think that we're going to find out that the people behind him are also the people behind the Trump attempted assassination. I think we're going to find out that this all has a big connection, and that this big connection is not going to surprise us when we see who's funding it. Because look, we've seen it in our country many, many times before, right? We saw it with Lincoln. We saw it with both Kennedys, John and Robert. We saw it with Martin Luther King. We saw it, now with Charlie Kirk, right? There are people who want to silence people, and they think that their socialist, communist, authoritarian bullshit can be used here in America. And we're not having it. We're not having it. We didn't have it then, and we're not going to have it now, especially now. It's just not going to happen. And, for me, I say that the best way for us to make sure that the elite globalists cannot win is to let our voices be heard loud and strong. That means, post 2-3 times a day. Get the old Charlie Kirk videos and put them up. Make sure that people hear them and see that he was not a racist or any of the things that they claim he is. I saw that there was a video going around where he gets very angry with a guy named Shink, Chynk, his first name, and he calls him Shink. And because he was Asian American, people thought that they were calling him a derogatory name. But his name was Shink, Chynk. And they're trying to use that to show that Charlie Kirk was a racist, which he was not. So, we need to call out the liars and the misinformers. And we need to be vigilant and we need to speak out. And that's why you will find me here at 8 o'clock every night, Sunday through Thursday, not Friday and Saturday, because everybody has something better to do on Friday and Saturday. And our 30 minutes is up. And I thank you very much for joining me for this segment of Let's Talk News. Again, Let's Talk News Media is where you'll find us on Instagram, and also YouTube. I love that my pastor talked about him in my church today. Many people did in our church as well. So, all right, everybody, I will see you tomorrow. And remember, Wednesday, Michelle Eskenazi, bail bond queen, will be speaking to us about bail bond and what happened in Charlotte. Okay, see you on tomorrow.